let me know if somebody can just check and
yeah, I'm just in it now. Just wait to see whether it's going to pop up.
Hopefully it'll pop up.
Refresh. Where are you?
It looks like I'm live.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, cool. Okay, so welcome to everybody on Zoom and on Facebook. It's Pip Todman here, and I am about to demonstrate with Nature's Harvest. So if you've been watching the previous one, you'll know that we had fun with the colour challenge. Now we're going to have fun with Nature's Harvest. So I've got my little packet here. Oh, I've actually made 3 cards, okay? So I've done 3 cards, but we might not get through all 3 of those today. But you can also request a link and request a link. Click the link that I'm going to put into this Facebook session, and you can get the tutorial, okay? So, and the tutorial is in both metric for A4 card, and it's also in imperial for letter size card. So I've done it so it will work for everybody around the world. Okay, so I'm going to show you the 3 cards, and I sort of started out, I always do stuff, and I always start out with if it's somebody just starting out making a card, somebody who likes to do frames, you know, done a bit of die cutting, and then something with a bit more of a technique in it. So that's kind of how I've worked my cards. So I'm going to flick over to my hands. So hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to show you the cards that we're going to be playing with today. And just depending on how fast I talk, depends on how much I get through in this session. So the first one is this one. Okay, and this is a simple stamping card with a bit of sparkly. We like a bit of sparkly. And some of the beautiful papers to go along with the Harvest Meadow. So that's the first simple card, okay? Then if you want to step it up a little bit and do a bit of colouring, because I love a bit of colouring, this is my second card, okay? So this uses probably my favourite image in that set, in this set, Harvest Meadow. We've actually got some of these echinaceas down the garden. First time we've grown them this year in that spot, and they're doing really well. They're actually really pale yellow, but I thought, no, I'm going to go a bit darker for this because they come in all different colours. And then we've got a bit of simple stamping and messaging down here. And this uses the beautiful cork paper, which is so yummy, textural. And then finally, for my stepped up technique version, this is actually on shimmery white cardstock, but you can't probably... Oh, I'm just going to mute everybody. There we go. But you can't probably see the shimmer because it doesn't tend to show up very well on camera. But I've watercoloured that with a bit of a wash, and then I've run it through an embossing folder and then added the cork frame and these beautiful, I don't know, they look actually, when you cut them out, they look more like wheat sheaves than bulrushes, but I think you could kind of have them as either or, and then just added a little simple sentiment and some more bling. So those are my 3 cards, and we'll see how far we get with them today. I might sort of do, this one's easy, it's just a bit of stamping and then layering up with the papers, okay? And then, so I might just concentrate on these 2 and see how we go. So let's do this one to start off with. So I've got my little packs ready, with my little gold gems. And this one comes with a piece that is exactly the same size. So this is the same, it's that base layer piece, and they're exactly the same size, one in white and one in the cork. But the first thing you need to do is create this frame. So using the rectangle stitched dies, I always call them rectangle stitched, but apparently they're stitched rectangles, but hey hey. You want to find the, oh, I need to get mine back in order, get back in order. Back in order so I can see. There we go. So it's this one, I think, if I can get that out. No, next one up, this one. One out. So it's this one. So this one will cut that frame out. So that is 1, 2, it's the 3rd one down if you've got this set. Okay. So the first thing you need to do is do this. Now, if you're careful with this, you can actually get all 3 cards out of one piece of cork. All 3, well, the 2, because we only use it on 2, but you can, I'll show you how to do that next. So we'll do this, make sure it's straight. I think I left a little bit of a bigger border at the bottom than the top. Is that straight? Oh, my eyes today are just dreadful, but it looks straight. Yeah, that looks straight. Okay, so we're going to put that on there. I've got more shiny going on, sorry. The light here is dreadful because it's just so bright. I mean, it's really good, but it's dreadful for camera work. Okay, so I'm going to take that and we're going to run that through here. And I always put it at an angle because then it doesn't have that big chunk as you go over your edges of a straight edge. Okay, it's much better for the dies, it's much better for the machine if you just put that at a bit of an angle as you go through, because then you don't get that massive like trying to get over that line. Now the paper is quite thin, but it actually doesn't seem to rip or anything. Famous last words. Let's hope it's okay. Is that back? Need that back in a second. Okay. So, but I make sure I used old washi tape. Like, not old as in it's been sitting in my cupboard for a while, but old as in I've used it a few times through the machine. Okay, lift that off. Okay. And then this just pops out of the rectangle. These are actually the old version of the dies. The new dies seem to pop out a lot easier, I find, than the old ones. But there we go. Now, don't throw this bit in the middle away. Obviously, don't know why I'm saying that. Obviously, you're never going to throw that bit away, right? But don't throw that bit away because we're going to need that again in a minute. But this is the one we're going to need first off for this. So now we've got our frame. I sort of, in my head, position it. And if you want to, you can put a tiny little mark down the bottom here in pencil, so you know where the edge of your frame is going to be. Okay, so you just mark it sort of here-ish and here-ish, because they're going to be covered up anyway. And then that way you know where that is. You probably can't see that because it's way too fine, but see, I've just done 2 little dots, one on either side of that edge. Okay, then with your stamp set and your ink, you need just your memento for this. And we're going to use this gorgeous one here. This you need your E block for, or just a big block. There we go. Isn't it just yummy? Alison, don't look at the state of my blocks, please. Thank you. They're dreadful. Every time I clean them, they get dirty again. It's like, what? It's like housework. So I've been using them a lot recently and I haven't had a chance to give them a good clean. Oh dear. Not that she's like our police like cleaning monitor or anything. She's not, but she's very good at getting stuff pristine looking. Okay, so now using those 2 dots, I know roughly where my base is going to be and where the edge of my frame is going to be. So I know that I need to come in a little bit like this, maybe over a bit like this, like so. And then that, when that's positioned, will come off. And then when the frame goes on, see, lovely. And it's okay for that bit to be off a bit because we're going to put we're going to put a sentiment across that anyway. Okay, so now we get to do the fun bit, which is the colouring. Cool. So here are the Stampin' Blends that I've got. I've got Calypso Coral, Daffodil Delight. They got rid of Mango Melody. Don't know why they did that. Oh, it's beautiful. Soft Suede, and this is Soft Succulent. Okay, light and dark. These are the colours that match those in the actual catalogue. Like they match the colours in the papers, right? So take my lid off, and I'm starting with the light colour, which is actually the dark. Okay, I know it'll make sense, but it's the dark Daffodil Delight is what I'm using to start off with. I'm going to work one flower at a time. So use the dark, then add just in the middle a little bit of light, and I mean just a little, because these are harvesty flowers. Then I need the light Calypso coral. Oh, there we go. And we're just popping that in at the base to start off with, just to sort of give it a bit of colouring going on. And we'll go dark Calypso coral and put some dots in. I like doing dots because it's more likely it's going to be an even texture. And I'll just add a couple down here. I don't know why, but I got the idea that it's going to go dark to light to dark again. And then back over the whole thing with our yellow, but now bring that in from the ends. So we're blending all of that in. So excellent. And then finishing off again, just a smidge of light, Daffodil Delight, just to bring out that centerpiece again. And then to finish off the coneflower bit, or the echinacea bit in the middle, I just used some soft suede, the light one, and then put that in, and then just add a smidgy just around the edge here of that dark Calypso coral. And then we do the same again on all the other flowers, but the other ones don't seem to be, I don't know, they just haven't got quite such big petals to work with, so you can go straight in with the dark Daffodil Delight on these ones. And then, and if I get any bits that go over, I'm going to wait until after the after all of it's dried, and then use my colour lifter to just push them back in. So that works great. Okay. Hopefully this is making sense to people. A bit more random with my dots on that one. But they don't all have to be absolutely identical, because flowers aren't absolutely identical. And they might look it, but each one of them's got something. Maybe it's in a different stage of its life, so it's just a little different. Okay. Soft suede. Oh, we've got some more people joining us. Hold on. Okay, some soft suede coming in there. Like that. Hello, people. Hello. If you've just joined us, Gail just joined us. Hello, nice to see you on here. Okay, we'll just do that. So then pull this down. Now this one's a bit weird because it's got like the bottom, I mean the top at the bottom still at this point. Okay, because this is really what ends up at the top, I believe. Or it just, well, that's what it looks like to me anyway. So I made this one quite orangey because it's on its way to being what's at the top. Soft suede just along that edge. Okay. pretty much it. Just do a little light. And although it might not look like the light's actually doing anything, it actually is. It's lifting, just lifts the colour over time. Okay, so that's all those. All that's left is to do your leaves and your stems. So the light soft succulent all the way up. Yeah. There we go. Again, let's do all the leaves to start off with. Just to sort of give it a base coating, if you know what I mean. Now, I'm getting away with doing this on my desk because it doesn't seem to go through and stain my desk. But if you are working on a white table or something and you're not sure, make sure you always put something underneath your desk, because it does come through. So you just need to be careful of that. All right, so then we'll start off with, finish off rather with some dark pieces. And again, just think about where it's going to be darker. It will be darker here underneath this part of the leaf, down near the joins. This one will be darker because it's behind. And then the stems will be darker up here. And then we go back and we blend that in. Okay, so that's the colouring done. Next, we're going to just pop the frame on, whichever way around you want it. And because it's floppy, you can just use a bit of glue here. Make sure I'm on the camera. Can you see there? Okay, yeah, okay. Make sure it's coming out. It's a bit grainy, so sorry about the noise. All right, so don't do that. And then rather than pick the frame up and put it on the front, it's easier if you take the front and put it on the frame, just at least to start off with. And then you can turn over and shift as necessary because it's multi-purpose glue, so we can shift it around. There we go. And if sometimes what happens when you do your cutting, it might just draw the cardstock in. So if you're left like I've been left here, just a smidgy of white there, I'll just trim it off. I'm not, you know, don't get anal about it. Just trim that bit off. No one's going to notice. There we go. Okay. So that's now our flowers. So then what we have to do now is our stamping. So we need to stamp our sentiment or wording. And I'm using a reminder to never forget how much you mean to me and to so others, and to so many others. I was going to say that doesn't make sense. And I've stamped this in two colours, Bumblebee and Calypso Coral. You need to stamp it 3 times. Well, twice really. Twice. You can do it with twice. So once in Bumblebee, and then in Calypso Coral. So clean that. Whoops, Daisy. No questions coming in so far on the chat. That's good. Okay. When I've done this one, we'll stop. And okay, that was a silly thing to do. Just some old glue hitting the floor. Right, Calypso Coral. Now this might seem a little fussy, and to be honest, for me, it is a little fussy. Not what I'd normally do, but I just thought it looked really nice when it was done. So you have to be brave and you have to cut it out by hand. Okay. These ones are not so bad because you can follow the words along there. Okay. And what we're after is the top line and the bottom line. Now you could just cut the other colour out and put it over the top if you prefer, but I'm cutting along here to actually separate these two. And that will give us a little bit more of a challenge because then it's not in the centre of the cardstock. But you could also mask off the middle and that would give you a little bit more of a space. But I'm just trimming it down. And because it's got a rusticy kind of look, it doesn't matter in my mind that it's not even. Even though my OCD head is going, but it's not even. My creative side is going, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It all looks good when you get it done. And if I have a little spot of colour on it, I'm not going to get too fussed about that. Okay, this does need to come in a little bit though, because that is very crooked. I do get a little anal. And if I don't like it, I will do it again. But it's okay. It's turning out okay. Cool. And then the middle one is easier because it's all wiggly. All these little bits, don't need those. So then this middle piece, you get to just follow the humps and bumps of the writing. And then that way you can cut out that middle piece. It doesn't look so bad. Just turn that one around there. And then come back out sort of straightish. There. Okay, so then we've got that one. That looks right at that end. This one, we'll just chop that off there. And I might just make that come in and then up a little bit like so. There we go. So then I have a small piece of the papers that I've cut down. And basically I've just left it a certain length and then thought, right, we'll have it that long and then I'll just chop it off so that it fits nicely with whatever words I've cut. So there we go, we'll just do that. So now we'll put this one in place first because this is the biggest piece, so this is the easiest bit to put in first. I'm going flat because I just thought it's easier to just go flat. And this one, I went right over to the edge of the cork and down. Okay, this one's come over a little bit longer. I've left a bit more of a gap around it, I think. And then what's the next one to go on? So let's put this one on next. Ooh. Yeah, I left a bit more of a gap on that one. It's okay. It's fine. Okay, sort of straighten that. And don't lose these little pieces because they're so tiny. And also make sure you get them in the right order when you put them on, because again, you could miss everything.
I'm a bit behind. What colour did you stamp the outline?
Oh, that was Memento, same as ever.
No, okay, fine, thank you.
That's all right, huh?
I was looking for my Nature's Harvest. I found it, thank God.
Good, yay. Cool. And then this one's going to go underneath. Oops. Don't put it on your sticky fingers. What about your jeans? And then this one's going to go down here under these words like so. Okay, so that's it, apart from putting it actually onto our card and then adding some bling. What have I done time-wise? 10:30. Okay, I've got 15 minutes to make the next one. Might be a bit of a challenge. We might just do the pieces and then see how we go. All
Piece
right.
of cake.
Piece of cake, indeed. There we go. So now that is, I mean, to me, this is quite a technical card. I wouldn't normally do all that fussy cutting out and all that because it's too much hassle. But I kind of liked it when I did it. I thought actually it kind of needed it for that type of card, like for that image and using the cork. It sort of needs a little bit more time spent with it. And then I love these gilded gems. They're just beautiful. So we're going to pop on some gilded gems. We'll stick one down here. I've been using these in everything recently. And then I've got a smaller one. It'll have to be the same size. Yeah, be fine. So there we go. So that's that one.
Beautiful.
My original, not bad at all in terms of matching.
Lovely.
Cool. So that's the first one. I think I'm going to attempt some of the elements of this so that you can at least see what I've done, because this is probably even more technical. So let me just tidy away my blends because they get in the way. Throwing something off the other side of the desk. Yeah, be fine. And then we'll get rid of this. Don't need our memento anymore. What I do need is my water painters. There we go. And I'm going to use the biggest one. And I've got, as I say, my little packs of stuff ready here. So I have, stop shining, go away. I have shimmery white, okay. And then I've got some very vanilla. I haven't used very vanilla in ages, so it's a good chance to use that. And then I have my soft succulent, which I've managed to put away again. So you need to have some soft succulent in the middle of your ink pad. If you haven't done that before, you just squish it from the back hard without rocking the camera too much, sorry. And when you open it up, there's ink in it, okay? And use this as our water palette, basically. So make sure you've got water coming out of your water painter, quite wet, not massively wet, but quite wet. There we go. And then this is, as I say, this is the shimmer white card. Don't know if that's picking up anything at all on the camera, but it has actually got little speckles of shimmer in it, and it's slightly more creamy than our basic white. We're just washing over with our soft succulent. Now you might notice I made a boo-boo in my original. Can you tell what it is? I can't do that, can we? Yeah, we made a bit of a mistake in my original one because I can go under there, go that way. Because I didn't use soft succulent. I actually used mint macaron by accident. So it's slightly greenier, this one, like mintier, as the name would suggest, but I actually really like the soft succulent. So we're going to go with that. Plus it matches with the papers better, even though we're not actually using the papers on this one. So then we sort of waft it around for a while, and I'll show you how to cut the other frame out. So now what we need, while that dries off for a minute, is the next two down. So this is the second, yeah, that's right. So this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth one in, okay? And then we just cut it out again, simple as that. So I'll put our tape back on so we know where we're going. Let me hold it in place. Oops. And then by doing this, we've got a nice frame that's going to be used in this. So as I say, you could do it all out of one piece. For those of you who got the packs from me, you've got two pieces. just in case you made a mistake, because I thought, well, that's only fair. So we'll do, pop that through again. I've done it at an angle, so you don't get that nasty crunch. Oh, I need new plates, they're sticking. And I'll do that in a sec. So now what we're going to do is, now that our piece of shimmery white is sort of, it's still a bit damp, but it's not like, it's not got water running all over it, okay? Then we're going to switch out our plates. We're going to bring in our 3D embossing plate, and we're now going to run that through with the time worn, this is the time worn embossing folder. And the reason I do it this way round is because the dampness adds an extra zhing, if you like, to the embossing. Because then as it dries, it makes sure it dries with the embossing even more set, if you know what I mean. Oops, there we go. Take that away. So now that's just so beautifully embossed. You see that? That gorgeous. Because that dampness is really, it's just, I don't know, it just adds a little something in that middle piece, I think. Okay, so that's our base, that's the bottom layer. And then peeling this off is our top layer, as it were. See, it's just, it just forms this beautiful little frame that then you can pop on top of that. And you've still got another piece which you could use as a, you know, you could absolutely use that as a backing to something, as a layer. So that's that, that's that. Then we have our gorgeous bulrushes from our harvest dies. Harvest dies are beautiful. So look, you've got all these. Oh, yummy. There we go. Okay, run that one through. In fact, I might even get this one made. What's the time? 35, 10 minutes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 10 minutes. Doo-doo. Let's plug in. This is just gorgeous. Now, you could add adhesive sheets at this point if you wanted to, but because we're sort of sliding it behind and through the frame, I found that that would make it really quite difficult to attach, because you'd have to get the frame stuck to the adhesive sheets and then yada, yada, yada. So actually, I decided not to do that, and to do it just with a bit of glue. Okay, so take the tape off. See how we're doing under there. I need my pokey. Where's it coming out? There we go. So then lift that out. It's very thin, so just be a bit gentle with it coming out the cardstock. It's not stuck. It's just you know, you don't want to get it stuck within its own design, as it were. There we go. Okay, so now we've got that. We're going to thread it through and behind. Okay, so it needs to sit sort of like that. Okay, so now we know how it needs to look. I put a little dab of glue just behind here where this bit's going to go. Okay, and attach that. Same for this bit, because you want it attached at more than one spot when you're working with it. Don't get me, oh, now my glue's come right out. Okay, we'll have to sort that out in a minute. And then turn it over. And then either you can put a bit of tape over that if you want to be really secure. So if you know that you just want to make sure that really holds, tape is your friend. Just a bit of tear and tape, pop it over there. And that holds them nicely in place. And now you've got a very solid piece that you can cut, well, as solid as the cork allows you to be. Now you can go down the rest of the frame, across the top, down here, add a few dotty bits in the middle, just so that you've got a little bit attachment in there, especially this guy. Okay. Right. And you can even take this bit of, I would always take the top off the tape, so it's actually working as tape. Nails underneath that. No. Come on, lift. I don't want to pull it quite as hard as I normally would because it's cork. There we go. Okay. And then I always add a bit of glue over the top of it so it doesn't stick where I don't want it to, if you know what I mean. Got some maneuverability. Now we have our whole frame sort of ready to go-ish. Okay. Make sure your words are the right way up. Yeah, there we go. There is one word in there that you can actually see, so just make sure that's the right way up. And then we'll pop this down at what I would call a jaunty angle. There we go. And then I'm going to worry about this piece up here. And I'm going to use my, where are we? This is a microfiber cloth I use for pretty much everything. And it just helps to lift that glue off without spreading it anywhere, if you know what I mean. There we go. And then once that's dry, we can use our glue eraser for that, which I love. Okay. So that's that. Then, time-wise, not doing bad. Okay. Then we're going to put it on our card base because we're ready for that now. Put that in here, like so. Just like that. And then I used Cajun Craze. So I went off piece a little bit because I added Cajun Craze to the colour mix, but I felt like that was okay. Just admitting a few more people. Okay, and then this is a thank you. Love this little thank you. It's really sort of flouncy, but really pretty. Added that onto here, and then using the dies, there's one that's perfectly designed, obviously, to cut that sentiment out just here. Put that on there. That's right. That looks right. Go down a smidge. Okay. I'll put that up. And then put that over here. Oh. There. Da, da, da. Last piece of die cutting. Okay. I've lost what I've done with my twine. And I'll put these in the drawer. Okay, here we go. Ooh. I nearly had a whole plate load of plates fall on the floor. Isn't that pretty? It cuts out nice, doesn't it? Now here I did use dimensionals with this one. Three is enough. Fits it perfectly. And then I made sure this one was on straight because you want it sort of straight to the card base and to the card side, so it just looks a bit better that way. And then in here we've got somewhere this one. This is the Essentials twine collection. It has some very vanilla, which Sheila will be glad to know I put in. Oh, hello. Have I have you been able to see my hands all this way through?
Yeah, we've been able to see it until just now.
Okay, I don't know what happened there then. Oh, now I've gone that way around. What happened there? Oh, hold on. That's better. Oh, that went a bit weird then. Don't know what happened there. There we go, I'm back. Good. Okay.
Gremlins on the system.
Yeah. I changed a few of the settings on the Zoom, so I wonder if that's what's happened.
Wasn't me this time, Pip.
It wasn't you this time. No, it wasn't. Absolutely. You're allowed. You're okay.
You were just about to say, Sheila,
Yes, I was about to say, Sheila, there's a bow for you.
I'm not so nervous about bows now.
No, that's why I said it, because
Yeah,
you're okay with bows now. It's like, no. Sheilah's mastered her bows, so she's okay.
If you persist, you will get it in the end.
Exactly. This one was specially for you. I thought.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sheila will like a little bow here. So pop that on, and it's too small for a glue dot. Oh, she says I'm doing it all. Anyway, what have I done now? See, I've got too excited. So you're glad to see that this happens to the best of us, right? It happens to all of us.
Oh, I love it. Well, you know, not love it, but I mean, it's so nice to know we're all like-minded. We're all the same in a way.
Of course we are.
Some people do things better than others, and others do different things better than them. So
yeah, I'm really messing that up. I'm going to start again.
Right.
There we go.
It was the glue dot's fault, wasn't it?
It was. It was a lovely bow up until that point.
It was.
Okay. Ooh. It's really playing with me today. What I was trying to say was just twist the glue dot so it's small enough to sit behind, and then we can just pop that on top there and it's stuck behind. There we go. Right, what's the time? 45, bang on. Hurrah. Okay, so I've made 2 out of the 3, but I've hopefully made the more difficult ones out of the 3 that I did, so that you had a good idea of how to do those at home. And the other one is this one. Yeah, I need a bit more bling on that one, so we'll add some bling to make it look like that. But this one is, as I say, 2nd generation stamping of the splodge. And when I say splodge, I mean, of course, this beautiful image here, which I just call the splodge. So stamp that, 2nd generation, and then I stamped the bumblebee once, and then 2nd generation. Added a little bit of Winkostella. I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually shiny. There we go. So shiny on those and on this one, and then stamped the good luck, and then popped it all up just like that. So that's a really simple piece, simple one. Okay, so you can all come off mute now because I'm done. Let me know what you think. Any questions, anything that you got stuck with, or I didn't explain very well. Let me know.
Beautiful, Pip.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah,
very gorgeous.
Good.
Just what did you mean by second generation there when you were talking about that? Sorry.
Oh, so second generation stamping. So that is where, let me get a piece of cardstock. So for example, on this one, I would do, I'd get my piece of grid paper again. Where's that gone? Just do with my grid paper. So I would do this with a grid paper. I need something. Where's my splodge? And you can do it with anything, but I'll show you with the splodge because then it might make more sense. So on this, sometimes you can even do third generation. So I just a stamp. So that's first generation. That's second generation. That's third generation.
Right, so stamping off. That makes sense.
Stamping off, but I just call it in generations so that people understand that they can do like 1, 2,
Yeah.
and then 3. But yeah, it's just called different things around the world, I guess.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's what got me confused.
That's good. No, that's good that you say that because otherwise people, wouldn't understand what I'm going on about. So
Yeah.
cool.
That's
All good.
Okay.
that's a New Zealand accent there.
It is, yes.
It's Julie's joined us all the way from. Where are you?
I think
From Nelson, New Zealand.
There we go.
I
Knew that.
my sister's in Umu.
Or Paraparam is the quicker way of saying it.
New Zealand, obviously.
The local way of saying it.
I want to say moo moo at the end.
Moo moo.
Para umu. Or para umu.
Have lots of connections to New Zealand. My cousin, well, my aunt and my cousins live in New Zealand as well. So, but I've never been to visit. I'd love to. So it would be
About time you did, I think.
I know. Well,
Yeah.
if only we could travel.
Well, yes. Don't even go there.
Let's not go there. No, we won't go there. Okay. Any other questions from anybody on those ones? Or are we all done?
It's going up on a video so we can see it, is it? Yes.
Yeah, it's streaming into Facebook now, so
Thank you.
it'll be there as soon as Facebook sort of brings it back, as it were. And I will, I'll finish this one, and then I'll go and put the link in so that if people did want to have the exact instructions for all of the cards, then you can have a download PDF for that, which you're free to use if you want to. And I'll put that link in. Okay, that's it from me. So I'm going to finish the Facebook. Okay, so we're going to stop the Facebook streaming. Okay, and then we will come back again in 10 minutes. Well, we can stay on the Zoom. You can stay on the Zoom, but in 10 minutes, the lovely Deb is going to be here. Well, hopefully she's here already, getting herself all organised and set up and whatever. And then we'll start the Facebook stream again so that each demonstrator has their own separate Facebook post. So you're easily going to be able to find which one and not have to sit through 12 hours of Facebook streaming, which, could be tricky. So that makes it fair for everybody so that everybody can find stuff and not be frustrated afterwards. Alrighty, so thank you ever so much for watching me, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the day. And I'm going to stop the Facebook now, and I'll see you soon.